Welcome back and thank you so much for watching. Arise is the show and my name is Judy Merona. This is a segment where I usually bring you a guest. We talk about different issues. I am not identical. I don't pick types of guests. So anyone can be on this show, trust me. It's called Treasure Talk, and I usually bring you different people to either talk about themselves, their businesses, what do they do, and something of the sort. So today, have a special person in studio with me. You know, I usually give you business tips and I tell you how to begin. Don't fear to begin. Where are you going to put your business and something like that? You must have a business plan. Be strategical where you want to put it and how much your commodity is going to be. All that. So today it has to be practical, and in studio have an amazing person. She's going to introduce herself to you people and she'll tell us more about herself. You're welcome to the show, Fiona.
Thank you, Julie.
Tell them all your names.
Yes,
and
viewers,
what you do.
I'm glad to be here with you today. My name is Naigaga Fiona Fortunate. I'm the founder of Philopads, a social enterprise making reusable sanitary pads. Our focus is menstrual hygiene holistically. We of course, we have a product called Philopads, but also we don't stop at only selling the product.
Okay.
We train, we train senior women in schools because menstrual hygiene is such a challenging and complex situation. All
right, we shall get there, yes. Fiona. Fiona, how did you begin up? I mean, what were you doing before you ventured into this business?
For more than 10 years, I was working in the NGO world where I served in different capacity as a training officer, a mentor, advocacy and partnerships, knowledge management in different entities.
Okay.
And all the entities I worked with, our focus was sexual reproductive health.
Okay.
Issues to do with growth, HIV, AIDS, drugs, mental health. Of course, income generating activity was also a key component because our coverage for the time I've worked, our focus was really young people, youth.
Okay.
And when we talk about young people, would mean 10 to 24 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you look at the statistics in Uganda, Uganda is one of the second largest in the world with the youngest population. Yeah, we have so many young people.
They rated us, the youth, to be 70%. They carry the biggest percentage census.
Yes, and that is a big challenge because these young people are non-skilled. Of course, when you look at employment issues, unemployment issues, the young people don't have jobs,
yes.
They don't have skills, they lack guidance. I mean, they are trying. They
yes.
are learning and unlearning and so many things that hit them. So for over 10 years, I was working and focusing on youth programming.
Okay, empowering them.
Yes.
So tell me, where does now this idea of you beginning your own to become an entrepreneur as a person come from, and when was that?
I would say it began as a burden when I was working. Many times we would go because I've had the opportunity to be at international forums, at national meetings, but also down in the community. Okay. I've had the opportunity to interact with the young people directly. And why I say it was more than a burden, and because many times we would go to the community. You talk to a young girl, maybe there is that special group, the 10 years to 14 years, the young adolescents. Oh my God, it's a neglected group, but very challenging. Sometimes we focus on adolescents, 18 years, 19 and 20. The 10 to 24 to 14.
To 14.
They have challenging issues.
And they're usually in their primary school.
Yes, because we often look at them as children, and yet they are not children.
Yeah.
They are trying to learn to be adolescents.
Teenagers.
You know? And that is where most of the growth changes happen.
Okay.
That is when a girl starts menstruating. She's not liking it.
I was afraid to know that the youngest at times they even menstruate by 8 years.
Yes.
8, 9.
Exactly.
And you look at such a child being too young for that.
And also telling her
and
that...
yet unprepared.
Very. Telling her that, hey, now you're going to menstruate for a long time of your lifetime.
Yeah, almost your lifetime.
Exactly. And the challenge is they are no longer feeling free. That is when they draw back and they are no longer open because they feel like, oh, I'm no longer an innocent child. Maybe I should keep my issues private. Who do I talk to? Then that is another challenge. Because sometimes the parents are not there. Even when they are there, maybe the atmosphere is not created for these young ones
to freely
discuss.
Talk to them, yes.
And that is where the gap is.
Okay.
You find that these young ones look for peers, the ones they feel
they are
like...
fellows.
Exactly.
They confine in.
And they tell them, also learning, because it's not easy, learning to wear a pad and knowing that I have to use it for more than 72 hours. That period I have to be clean, I have to be conscious, I have not to expose things to everybody. Because even in society, that's why they call it ensonga. Quite often when you say, let's talk about this, they'll tell you, oh, that is a private matter. Why are you talking about it in public?
And they even feel embarrassed. Now, when do you start?
I started in 2000, really starting 2021, around COVID time.
That's 2021.
Yes.
COVID?
Yes.
Or post-COVID?
Yes. I did some work in COVID, but then after COVID, I was like, this is the time to start.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me the journey. How did you start, and why specifically you venturing into making sanitary pads?
Okay, like I told you, it's part of my work experience.
Okay, yeah.
Because I've worked with young people. I know quite often when we go to the community, counsel them, train them, they would come closer to us. They befriend me, and many of them, the girls, their need was, can you buy me pads?
I know.
But in a lifetime of a woman has over 450 periods in a lifetime. Then you ask yourself, how is this sustainable? If I'm buying her pads today, what happens next month?
Okay.
Where is the gap? So I felt like besides talking about menstrual hygiene, growth and development, we need to find a solution, something, solve the problem that is, one, cost effective, because honestly, one time I was talking to one mother. She told me she had 4 daughters, a rural woman in the village, and I was talking to her about taking her responsibility to provide the pads. We had a longer conversation, but she told me, my dear, I want to tell you the truth, that even me sometimes I don't have the knickers. But on the other hand, I've also had an opportunity, a very, very big opportunity, to work with the young people on ground, down in the rural communities. So we've had an opportunity. That time I was working with the Action for Health, and we had a truck would move to even the hard-to-reach communities. I mean, where information is not considered as a priority, sexual reproductive information. So we moved and interacted with young people, even when it came to representing their issues at national level. Would just not read about them or talk about them.
Okay.
Would passionately connect with the issues we have seen in the community.
Well, that was very beautiful. Now, in your conversation with them, you're going to lay down some of the key issues that affect the youth in rural areas. Could be also the same problems affecting the ones in urban areas as well. But let's look at some of the issues that really affect the youth. Because since you traverse the country, going deep down to the rurals and try to talk to them physically, you might have gotten the exact exact information that you need to share with us right now.
Okay, thank you. Uganda is such a very interesting country when it comes to population distribution. Of course, we are second in the world with the youngest population. We have so many youth. And when it comes to the youth in the rural areas, it's tricky.
Okay.
Because information dissemination is slow. Sometimes by the time they get the information, they get to know about things that are happening. It is late. There is less exposure in terms of even talent discovery. There are so many young people with talents in the villages, but they don't have the opportunity. No one even sees that they are talented. And of course, here in town, it is tricky again. Of course, you have to make yourself heard. The young people have to find ways of being heard, being seen. So it's not so easy. There are few forums where, for example, young people can expose and talent search is known. So, of course, unemployment is a countrywide issue. The young people are unemployed and they are not skilled. So you find a young person with no skill and they are there. Of course, their unemployment rate is high among youth and they are not skilled. Even those who are educated, you find that they don't have the skills that make them fit for the job market, and it's a tricky situation.
Okay. So apparently you shared with us just a few issues, but let's now look at the reason as to why you started up making sensory pads.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, you know, you sat down and thought of a business idea or something like that. How did it come about?
Yes, I would say that sometimes there is purpose for everybody, and purpose comes with a burden. Like I told you that I worked with communities, rural communities.
Yes.
Many times I would go, of course, and teach, you do activation events about maybe menstruation. And in that process, young girls would open up to me. They would feel, oh, safe to open up with me. And I recall so many young girls would come and tell me to buy them pads. And now I'm talking about the 10 to 14 years.
Okay.
Because sometimes when we look at youth, adolescents, we forget.
We look at 18.
14, you know? We think the 18 needs are special, they are complex. It's hard for the 10-year-old. It's hard for the 12-year-old. Because these young people, before they know it, they were kids yesterday. And now they are
and we even don't know which category we are supposed to put them, because 8 or 9 to 14,
yes,
they are not kids and they are not that too old, they are teenagers.
Yes.
So we classify them to be kids because when you look at the age range, they are still in their primary school. Yeah, not yet in secondary. So let's call them kids. I was very, very much surprised to see a young girl of 9 years going into her menstrual periods. I was very surprised. At first I thought maybe there's a problem, until I consulted one doctor and told me, no, she's just healthy and it's very normal.
Very normal.
Yeah, so this is an age where most of them start going into their menstrual cycles and they don't know, they have no information. Literally, they don't know anything concerning it, and parents haven't yet talked to them about the body changes. So tell me how this helps you ease your work to even come up with sanitary pads to help. Okay, could be helping all the girls, but we look at the age that it really needs special attention.
Yeah, it's tricky, just like you said, because before you know it, this is a young girl who has been playing around the house naked. Now childhood is denying her. It's telling her you're no longer baby. They become conscious of who they are.
Yes.
And most of the changes of growth happen around there. that is when girls develop breasts, they start menstruation. It all comes with discomfort. At first it can be exciting, but then it comes with burdens. The pubic hair, I mean, a lot of body changes happen there.
They start hiding.
They feel like they should know what is taking place in their bodies, but sometimes they don't know who to talk to. And wow, that is when they run into the perverts in the community, that loud aunt in the community,
friends,
you know. You find they are close to them. But then we want to be sure how much, and is it the right content they are giving them?
Okay.
And are they knowing that, hey, you've started? I was talking to a 10-year-old recently, and I was telling her, she was asking me, when does this stop? I told her, well, it is seasonal, it comes monthly, but unfortunately, it takes a longer bit of your life. Because on average, a woman in a lifetime menstruates for 7 years, if you add up all those days. Because on average, there are 450 periods. And these are issues we don't want to talk about.
Exactly. Schools
are focusing on academics, good buildings. They're not talking about the needs of young people. Some of them have heavy cramps during the period.
Talk about it.
You know, and they are not even feeling like fit to interact.
That pain that even stops you from attending classes.
Exactly.
You remain in dormitory crying alone.
Schools don't have changing rooms. Ideally, these girls would have a break and maybe have a shower or something. If the cramps are heavy, to have a nap. It's okay to miss a lesson than missing classes for the whole period. For the rural girls, it's tricky. During the periods, they leave home, they don't reach school. And that is where the gap is. Also a contributing factor to high teenage pregnancy rates.
Okay.
Because in Uganda, according to the national statistics, 25% of the girls get pregnant, teenage pregnancies. But that is national. To some districts we've gone to. Districts are in 60. They will tell you 60.
Wow.
Yeah. There is a time a funding came to Kamuli in a certain sub-county, I've forgotten, and they looked for a girl who has completed senior 4. She was not there in the whole sub-county.
Wow.
Yeah. And that is already a red flag. So we focused on menstrual hygiene, of course, as a key pertinent issue in womanhood. But we don't only look at the pad. We want to approach menstrual hygiene holistically. We want to empower the girls with life skills. We want them to fascinate femaleness and know this is part of me. It is not by choice. It is who I am. I'm a woman, and as a woman, I have to menstruate. So it also, we want to tell the boys not to stigmatize these young ones, because the young ones, like I told you, the young adolescents, sometimes they are careless. They don't know how properly to change. Like they are not aware, they don't know. They forget. When should I change the pad? Sometimes even they don't have enough pads to change. And so you find that, hey, the whole school will know so-and-so is menstruating. And that is when we come in. I looked at a sustainable solution to addressing menstrual hygiene, and a reusable pad is because one time I went to the community. Of course, after interacting with the kids, I extended my service to the mother. And I was telling her how important it is to buy for her girls pads. She gave me a seat and told me, sit. She explained to me her situation as a single mother with 4 daughters and her income. And she was telling me honestly that word, how do you expect me to meet the needs of all my girls here? I think food comes as a priority because they have to eat.
Yes.
Rent is a priority because we have to find where to sleep. And she was telling me, not because this is not essential, but sometimes I put it on the side. And that is when girls find ways of surviving.
Helping themselves.
Helping themselves, looking for 5,000, but they're solving a problem which is not ending. This problem
this leads them to teenage pregnancy, of course, because if they look around for a solution, that means they need money to go and buy sanitary pads. And who is going to give them money? Of course, and that's where the problem comes from. So I think this is a very good innovative idea of coming up with reusable sanitary pads. I have a sister, and she goes to school. She's in now senior 4. She one time told me, Judy, at school there is an NGO that came at school. They were addressing issues concerning young girls, menstruation, reproductive system, and something like that. And then she was like, after they had talked to us, they gave us free reusable sanitary pads. Wow. Do you know how they look like? Then I'm like, no, I don't know, because I'd not seen any on the market. And then she showed me. I mean, I really applaud the person who came up with this idea, because reusable means you're saving some money. Yes. You know, I look at buying now sanitary pads on the market every month. You buying just reusable once. You're saving quite a lot of money. As parents also, it helps them to save, and also students to live comfortable. I mean, my sanitary pads are still there. I mean, you're not crying of them getting done and now looking for the money to buy new ones. So it's a very good idea that you came up with. I mean, how do you drive this now to now going back to schools? Because we've seen many that are needy, need some. Do you actually go to schools and at times even give out those for free?
Yes. For schools, our approach for schools is unique, because a school is an organized entity. That is when our objective of training and equipping the knowledge and skills comes in. Okay. We engage senior women teacher, we engage heads of schools to understand the issue holistically, because again, you can't separate menstruation with hygiene. That is when we come in to advise some, there are facilities at school that are supposed to be accommodating girls in their periods. If we are holistically looking at the general problem and helping the girls thrive and not contract other healthy complications. So for schools, we train, we teach them, because we look at, if we empower a girl, a 14-year-old is empowered. She can talk boldly about the issue. The 10-year-old who is starting to menstruate is a friend, will be already helped by a 14-year-old. That is the peer-to-peer support. Okay. And then, before we know it, the community will be what? Helped. Also the men, the boys, who are the husbands. Because sometimes we look at these young boys and we're like, okay, they are young, what do they know? But these are future husbands. They are going to solve a community problem. If a boy is exposed to this information at an early age, even as he grows up, he will appreciate, oh, I need to help my woman. Quite often I interact with even the elites. So many men don't want to associate themselves with menstrual hygiene or menstruation. They will tell you, I give my woman money. Let her go and buy. I'm like, but can't you?
And it's all that he can offer.
Yes, I give her money. Let her sort her needs. I don't even want to know. And to some women, even men will feel like they're unclean during periods. They will tell you that the perception I get from my partner, he feels like I'm unclean, I shouldn't come close to them. And yet menstruation is not a sickness. It's that blood is not unclean. It is just nature.
I am looking at a society where young boys in school or young boys in work environments, I want to see this environment where boys that we associate with, we work with, we study with in class can come out and tell you, oh, put you aside like how a girl can do it and tell you, oh, your dress is dirty, oh, your skirt is dirty, please go and excuse yourself. But we are into an era where a boy sees that your dress is stained and looks away because he fears to tell you.
Yes.
Because he feels is he less concerned? He fears, he has seen it. But if he has to approach you thinking that, or maybe you're going to take it in a bad way, or they feel less concerned. You get
feel it's embarrassing. And I mean, yet when you discuss with the real girls and women, the challenges they go through, it's hard. They are hard addressing menstrual hygiene. Because sometimes we look at the rural people, but we have the urban poor. We have people who are dealing with life on a daily basis. They are trying to survive. And nature calls. I mean, nature is nature. You menstruate. We want to see institutions addressing this issue holistically to begin with, because these are organized environments. A workplace, for example, that has females, is it factoring in the needs of females? If I'm at work and it happens and I wasn't ready with a pad, is how prepared is my workplace to accommodate my issue? Those are some of the advocacy issues we are looking at. But also we have people who are not in school, they are not in institutions. Our product is down also on market. Yeah, even in the least markets, we are there, and we are telling people we should normalize this. I've been to meetings where you have to talk about menstrual hygiene, and men feel like that is not our content. But their husbands and their fathers and brothers to sisters. Menstrual hygiene comes with complex issues, sometimes cramps. Girls are now dropping in sports participation, but that is one of the key issues, because they don't want to feel embarrassed. Sometimes the body is weak and the coach is not understanding. They'll take you through. That is when we bring in nutrition. Yes, some parents will tell you milk is only for the babies, but adolescents too need milk. Adolescents also need to know that instead of buying Chikomando, yes, the stomach is full, but you're not feeding right. Okay. So we integrate some of these issues, and we are telling people, let's embrace this. A reusable pad saves money, just like you said. It is cost effective, but also saves the environment.
Okay.
Women and girls, just look at the total number of women and girls in the country and think of how much waste we contribute to our nation.
Should be much. And
the babies, the diapers.
Diapers, and then dirty sanitary pads.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and the population is still here. You know, the population, we are many, and the population is still growing. If we don't find a solution that saves the environment, but also saves, personally I used the reusable pads for over 10 years. The background was not because I didn't have the money, but I found it very, very, very friendly. Okay. From bruises, itches, because using a pad, many of the products on market, the disposables, would react with my body. I have allergies, and I would find that moment very, very disturbing, because I have to deal with bruises, I have to scratch myself, I have sometimes even treat infections. Yes. But when I started using reusable sanitary pads, the cloth is soft, very friendly to the skin. I found peace.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we need to encourage the women to appreciate, to be empowered, to know it is okay. It is my pad. I can wash it and hang it on the cloth.
Yes.
Yeah, wear a cloth. It is okay. Women are stigmatized. We feel like we shouldn't talk about this issue.
And you shouldn't put it anywhere.
In Uganda, they call it ensonga. Issue. Ensonga temuzogerako ki mu bantu. And yet, with the modern system now, back then we had families sat around fire, because families lived as extended families. And they talked about these issues with kojas and sengas. Now we no longer have the opportunity. And we are not moving backwards,
They are
by
busy.
the way. We have nuclear families. Some aunties are actually tubalaba kumikolo. We see them on our functions and they're like, okay, this is my auntie. So as things change, we need to openly talk about these issues. Solve a problem in the community, empower everyone to appreciate that these are life issues that we need to embrace and talk about.
Wow, Fiona, and I must cut you short because of time. We are almost signing out, but Fiona is an entrepreneur, and she's the person behind Philopads. She thought of an idea and created a product that is really on demand. You know, it's usually good to have a business idea and think of a product that can sustain you for some time. You don't create demand, but she finds demand there already. And these are reusable sanitary pads. You didn't know about them. They're good, and they're very much friendly to use, of course. So Fiona, your last remarks in just seconds as we close. Your last remarks to the youth out there.
Okay. To the youth out there, do not fear. I mean, the world is not easy. Things are not hard. It's not easy to build a dream, but keep pressing. Resilience is key. Be self-motivated, because at so many times you'll find so many challenges and hiccups. Stay focused, be self-motivated, and don't fear to try. Don't fear to try. Put the ideas, all the ideas you have out there, and as long as the idea is solving a problem in the community, wow, that is the thing. Go for it, seek for knowledge, learn, unlearn, and relearn. Life will be good.
Thank you so much, Philo. I'm grateful to have you part of the show. Well, I had Philo in studio. She's the lady behind Philopads. Just in case for the ladies out there who are watching the show, as she makes reusable sanitary pads. She has been in, you must have seen her face somewhere. Maybe she has visited so many rural areas there, and she has talked to a few of the youth out there about your menstrual periods and how clean you can keep yourself. So she's here, and she'll be back for more that you missed out, maybe that we are not able to share on the show today. My name is Judy Merona. Arise is the show, and our segment has been Treasure Talk. Let's think up again next week, same time. Please be blessed.